women later lived with Dutch women. The tour returned shortly after. Miss Bennet's methods were born out of the kindness of Mrs. Hurst and Mrs. Beanley. Even if the mother is found to be ineligible, she does not clearly state her desire to meet with her relatives and siblings. Jane was happy with the idea, but Elizabeth saw their opinion for everyone as important and could not leave her shy sister. But the most important consequence of her sister's miracle was Jane's grief. Obviously, she was very grateful to him every time she met him, but it was obvious that Jane accepted her wish to start cheering him on for the first time, a biased approach. But she happily contemplated Jane's connection to the power of her inner mind, the spirit of anger, and the joys of joy unseen throughout the world, as the boss. She told her lover, Mrs. Lucas. "It can be fun," Charlotte replied, "to be able to force the public into such a situation, but sometimes it hinders such self-defence. If a woman hides her love and similar skills from her object, she may have a chance to make amends. So much, or so insignificant in all that is binding, that it is not safe to leave anything alone. We can all start free. A little natural choice is enough. Beanley loves your sister, without a doubt, but she never does more than that, unless you help her. But he will help her continue if her behaviour is acceptable. If I see her respecting her, she has to be careful, I don't know. Remember, Eliza, she doesn't know Jane looks like you. But if a woman loves a man and does not try to hide it, he must be saved. It has to be true if he sees it from himself. But even though Beanley and Jane meet often, it won't be long. Take all the time to talk to Jane as you need to. For her to take half an hour as much as she can. They can do what they want. Elizabeth. Your plan is good. There is no doubt about the desire for a good marriage. If I decide to find a rich man, or any man, I have the courage to say that I will accept him. But this is not the case. It's Jane's idea. It doesn't work. So far, he has not been able to determine his personal level or justification. He met her in just 15 days. She danced 4 dances in front of Brighton. He was seen in his house one morning. Since then, he has shared it with her 4 times. That's not enough to understand him. It simply came to our notice then. When he shared it, he did not know that he had died a good death. But we must remember that we spent 4 nights together, and 4 nights we could go on a long night. But this quarter to allow him to decide on a commercial wing being preferred, but other managerial nature, so is not issued. Yes, says Paul. Jane, good luck wish. And if it was tomorrow, I think it will not be a happy time getting to know 12 months that character. There is a happiness in marriage. A long time ago, and that which is completely dependent on the opportunity. It has long been known, and do not make it to spring and to overcome their own favour. They and she will live the good things. And make me laugh, Saint. However, that's not true. You know what's wrong, and not only do. Elizabeth did not realise what Billy had said about her sister, and soon she thought he was interested in a friend. At first, Darius does not make her beautiful. He looks disrespectful on the ball, and when they meet, he looked to her to rebuke her. But until he showed himself and his friends what they were about to look him in the face, and he did not realise that he was incredibly intelligent with the beautiful feeling of his eyes. He, darkness. With this, some died tragically. Although they look at him more than a group with a good reputation, he must admit that his appearance is light and comfortable. And while their ideas are not worldly fashions, their lightweight style is captivated by them. He didn't really know this. To him, he was a man who danced without the permission of any place, without thinking he was handsome enough to dance with her. He began to want more information about himself, and as a way to communicate with himself, he visited others. What he did lifted their curiosity. William Williams had a big party there. Speaking to Colonel Forster, Charlie said, "What does Darius mean?" That is the question that Darius can answer. But it again. I'll tell him I see what he says. He has a bad memory, and if I don't start doing things on my own, I'll be scared soon. Some time later, after speaking to her, though she did not speak, Luke's wife challenged her friends to call them, and urging Elizabeth to do it at once, she turned to him and said, "Mr. Darcy, when I insulted Colonel Forster by handing us a ball in Meryton, did I say I was not fit right now?" "It's a lot of power, but it's always the head that makes a woman happy." "You are our property." "It's an opportunity for her to cheat," she said. "I'll open the weapon, Eliza, then you know." "You are the guest of your friend. You always want me to play and sing in front of everyone and everyone. If I hadn't said I would change the track, it would have been very useful. But now I do not want to sit in front of them who often listen to beautiful drivers. However, Mrs. Lucas also said, 'Well, if you have to, you must. In your cold, I will kill myself and sing my song.'" He had a good job, despite having little money. After a few songs, and before answering the question for many more singers, he happily took the tour with his sister Mary, the only member of the family to work hard, to provoke his pure and upright brother, always showing patience. Mary has neither wisdom nor foresight, and when the competition offered them, it also gave them an air-conditioned and arrogant attitude, a quality that could be higher than before: disclosure. Lisabetta listened, simple and humble, with great pleasure, even if she did not play well. And Mary, at the end of the long concert, was happy to buy praise and thanks to her brothers, Hugh and another Lucas, and to Scotland and Ireland, who were encouraged to dance on the other side of the house. About Mr. Darcy was angry with them, and stood on the road in the evening, ignoring the whole conversation, and it was very difficult to know that Sir William Lucas was his neighbour, until Sir William began. "It's a great joy for young people, Sir Darcy. There's something to dance about. I think this was one of the first changes in social policy." "Before, sir, and it also has a popular potential among the smallest population in the world. Any dangerous games can be played." Sir William did not smile. "Your friends work together for fun," he goes on for a moment, watching Bingley join the party. "And I do not believe you are a scientist, Bay Darcy." "You saw me play at Meryton, sir?" Yeah, and I still don't have to have a fun look. Regular play at St. James, what?" "No, sir." "Do you think it should be appreciated from there?" "Thank you, and I pay nowhere if I can." "You have a house in the city. Is it over?" "Bamboo." Darcy shook his head. "I intend to rebuild the city myself, because I love people who are respected. But I don't think the weather in London suits Lady Lucas." He waited for an answer, but his friend did not want to do anything. Suddenly Elizabeth comes to them and goes on, does something great, and calls out, "Eliza, why don't you dance?" "Mr. Darcy, you must give me the opportunity to raise this girl as your best friend. You can't resist dancing. I know great beauty is in front of you." Holding his hand, he would give it to Darcy, who, though surprised, refused to accept it when he went back and told William. "Honestly, I didn't say I was going to dance. Please do not bother to push here to take." Humbly, Mr. Darcy let him respect her hand, but bluntly. Isabel was sentenced. Sir Williams was not shy of politics to seduce him. "She is very good at dancing, Mrs. Eliza, and it is cruel to deprive me of the joy I see." And though this man did not like the entertainment, he could not object. I know it helped for half an hour. "Sir Darcy is a great blessing," Elizabeth said with a laugh. Yes, but considering the reason for this, dear friend Eliza, do not be surprised at the public complaints, who hate this friend." Elizabeth looked at the carriage and left. His objection was that his head did not hurt, and he still thought, when Mrs. Bingley encouraged him, "I can tell you the purpose of your religion." "I don't think so." You think strangely many knights are around, in place. Yes, I am full of thoughts. I am not hurt any more. I don't have to tell you now. I don't want to confuse the surprise. What do you give your doctors to listen to? Your mind is very bad, I say. My mind is strong. I think how amazing this amazing face is given to a beautiful woman with beautiful eyes. Miss Bingley immediately looked up and asked which woman had been given the opportunity to wear the glasses. Darcy replied quietly, Mrs. Elizabeth Bennet. Mrs. Elizabeth Bennet? Miss Bingley went again. I'm surprised, he said. How old was he? I pray, when do I want you to be happy? That's all we know. A woman's mind is very quick. From time to time she jumps from fame to romance, from romance to marriage. I know you want to be happy. But if I really want to, I think the problem has been solved. Obviously you could be a beautiful mother-in-law. Obviously she should have Pemberley all the time. He listened to her with contempt when she decided to please him in this way. His head took a long time, because his depth assured him that everything was all right. Until next week. Yes, that's nice. You've got some clogs.
Yes.
We have actually.
Yeah, have get some clogs.
Yeah, but you can't.
You won't be able to see them.
You can hold them up.
You can hold them up.
Oh yeah.
Every time we talk about the Netherlands, you can hold up clogs.
A lot more women later live with the Dutch women. We've only got one of each. But you have to be the Dutch
We'll
woman.
have to read it.
One of you will.
Jane Austen reading in her ball gown for no apparent reason. Well, the reason is that my mother has only ever made one Regency dress. So, well, that's what we have.
Jane's grief.
Grief. Are you a lawyer?
I thought it was grief.
Obviously, she was very to him every time she met him.
Oh yes. Where's him gone?
Well,
You can't be everywhere.
I can't be everywhere. You'll have to. I can be. Obviously, she was great. You'll have to just. Hang on. Sorry.
I have to put that one down, I think, and then get back up.
Right, it'll be great.
What am I doing? Can I hitch the skirt up a bit? I feel like Henry dropped a donkey. He stands up, he's wearing shorts, you know. He's wearing box shorts underneath. Yeah, anyway. Which you can't see on the camera. It really, really gets hot. In the kind of satiny stuff against your skin is really very sweaty. Alright. Yeah, chapter 6 is a very long chapter, so I'm thinking I'll do the proper one of it. Now she told her lover, Mrs. Lucas. I don't think Jane Austen would approve. So now we get Charlotte and Elizabeth talking to each other again, so we better swap round again.
So right, she told her lover, Mrs. Lucas. Yes, says Paul. Jane, good.
Oh, yeah. Page 13. The pages are all screwed up because somebody walked over them. Yes, that was Lombard. Hence the muddy paw prints on the front page. And then he sat on them as well. So.
Right, so we've got Billy now and Darius.
Billy and Darius.
Dar.Rius.
Go on, you want to come here? And I'll...
Billy's involved now.
Yes.
I don't know who Billy is, but...
No, we don't know. Yes.
Isn't there a piece of elastic where you can lift that up so you don't keep tripping over it?
Ah,
There should be.
that would make sense.
You know it makes sense.
I thought it was him all the way through this, even though it's actually Elizabeth Bennet we're talking about, but never mind. To him, he was a man. I don't know why Charlotte has now become Charlie, but she has. But speaking to Colonel Forster, Charlie said, "And make me laugh, Saint, however, that's not true." Shall I pretend there is a full stop in that sentence? There isn't, but I can put now, who the hell is talking? Oh, Charlotte Lucas it actually is, isn't it?
Who's she talking to?
It says to Elizabeth.
Oh, you baby Charlotte then. No, she's Charlotte.
Well, alright, it's only one line, but we can just... It's the bit about, it's an opportunity for her to cheat. I don't know what weapon we open, I'm sure.
Yeah. You got a sword?
Well, we have, yes.
Which of us opens it?
Well, Charlotte says, "I'll open the weapon, Elizabeth," or something like that.
I'll have it sort of...
Behind your back? Or off camera?
Yes.
It's a bit further
Right.
to be off camera.
Well, exactly. I'm not sure how we can...
Is it off camera?
No, not yet. No,
Well, put it behind you then.
That's what I mean, but
Yeah,
it's kind
put it behind you.
it's quite...
Help you.
It's the only way. It's right here. Well, put the tip on the floor. So it's,
Just tip on
That's
the
what
floor.
I'm doing, but I'm
Right.
holding it out.
okay.
But anyway.
It's an opportunity. Right, so you can Billy.
And then we swap...
Oh,
I believe we swapped back because you're going to talk to Mr. Darcy now, are you not?
come on.
Yes.
Right, Mr. Darcy's back.
Speaking to Colonel Forster, Charlie said, "What does Darius mean?" What the bloody hell is... Never mind. Now, we always seem to be he apparently now, even though it's Elizabeth, but it's apparently he now, so either of you can do it. Apparently he had a good job, despite having little money. I do that screwdriver now, because apparently he happily took the tool with his sister Mary.
Yeah, quite a screwdriver.
Yes. Yourself, dear.
You should have got filthy minds.
We've got filthy minds.
You can have a heart tuner. That's
Okay,
a
that'll do.
tool.
That'll do.
Well done.
At least it'll stop people's minds boggling.
Yes, exactly. That's rather what I thought. Here you are. Let's you tune a harp with it. That's a tool.
Yeah, it looks like
Isn't it?
okay, here we go.
Until Sir William began. So you can be Sir William. Well, I don't know. Somebody can be Sir William as well. Yeah. This was one of the first changes in social policy.
Which verse is that?
It's still Sir William.
Hang on, I'm still reading your Darcy, aren't you?
Oh,
Well, I mean, they are technically both men, but to be honest, it really doesn't matter. I mean, you know.
because they keep changing sex. Yes.
Exactly. It's a lot of power, but it's always the head that makes a woman happy. Oh, Joe's going to love that one. Now, Sir William, isn't it, that's actually talking to Elizabeth?
He's a William now, then.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense, don't worry. Right. Oh dear, Isabel was sentenced, apparently. Poor Isabel. Sir Williams was not shy of politics. Humbly, Mr. Darcy let him respect her. So stupid. Yes. Are you going to do your...
What am I doing?
You're talking.
I'm talking
You-
to my quiet.
I am, yes, I'm not hurt.